Morris, and we can't get underway here. Now we're ready to go. When the opening tip is that competitive, you know you're in for a good game. Now the Bulls really struggled from three-point range other than DJ Patrick, who you saw in the open. The Bulls had only one three-pointer last time out, and they'll open this game with a turnover.
Generating offense off of the dribble is a little bit of a challenge, and they're trying to learn a lot of new players with a new offense, that Princeton offense. And I'm kind of surprised A&T didn't start out in a zone because of the struggles that USF had shooting the ball.
It's going to be fun to watch A&T defensively, as that's an air ball from Demetric Horton. Because they run so many defenses, the Bulls are going to be looking at something different almost every time down the court.
And this will be a little bit of a 2-2-1 trap. They use that more to slow down the other team than to create turnovers with it.
Caleb Murphy with the basketball. Second-year Bull, averaging 8 per game. Now Chiwa. Chaplin's three rims out. Good work on the offensive boards, and the Bulls get a second chance.
That was an area where A&T had a lot of struggles in their last game against Jacksonville, especially on the defensive end.
To the basket, and the block by Morris. Boggs scoops up the loose ball, and Morris the rebound.
Murphy probably pretty fortunate he didn't get the over-the-back foul there.
So USF misses their first 3 shots from the floor. North Carolina A&T is on the board. That's David Beatty, graduate student out of Philadelphia, averaging 9 a game.
I played at LaSalle, another transfer.
Chaplin with a nice move, but leaves it short, and Demetric Horton with a rebound. Beatty on the run. He gets by Chaplin and gets the uncontested layup. 4-0 Aggies in the early going.
Sometimes when you're a little bit unbalanced offensively, as USF was on that last trip, it leads to a run out and makes it tough for you defensively.
Bulls trying to find a shot here. Chiwa with 5 on the shot clock. And the scramble, Bulls able to pry that ball back into play, and Chaplin gets USF on the board.
You know, I mentioned at the top that an area where A&T struggled in their last game against Jacksonville was the offensive glass, and they had a tough time corralling that rebound, and give Chaplin credit for staying with it there.
North Carolina A&T has been out-rebounded in their first 2 games.
It's by 11.
Pretty significant margin. Nice pass, baseline drive, and the reverse layup by Tyler May. What a nice looking play.
A little bit of an overplay by USF, and A&T took advantage.
Boggs to the basket, and the lefty drops it in. Jake Boggs, first-year Bull out of Charlotte, gets USF back to within 2.
When you're struggling to shoot the basketball, as both these teams have the first couple of games, I think sometimes it's a little bit smarter to get it going and get confidence by going to the bucket.
Nice ball fake, opening up the baseline jumper for Demetric Horton, averaging 5 per game. And these teams starting to warm up a little bit now. Chaplin with an open look, but barely drew iron. Beatty waits for the screen. Horton from the corner. And Green able to corral the rebound. Green, a great leaper, had over 500 rebounds at George Mason in his career. But the giveaway there, the miss on the dunk, and somehow USF comes out unscathed.
Very fortunate, because a bad pass by Green really didn't have his head up. It led to that opportunity for A&T as they missed the dunk.
Bulls down 4 in the early going. Murphy's jumper. And another board for Tyler May. May going right in the went right through the heart of the court, and he drops it in to make it 10-4.
Pretty crossover, and USF is having a tough time handling dribble penetration.
Here's Chaplin with a big step, but he leaves the shot short. And North Carolina A&T with a basketball. Bulls have opened 2 of 10 from the floor. David Beatty set the tone early with a couple of hoops, looking for more, but he leaves it short. Chiwa leading the floor, and he can't convert. And the Bulls come up empty again.
Great job running the floor, just didn't keep his balance and finished strong.
That one no good by Cameron Langley. And Chiwa, who's averaging 6.5 boards per game, grabs one there. Green's three is well short.
That's too quick a shot, I think, for Brian Gregory's liking. A lot of the other shots have been within the flow of the offense. That was not.
Bulls have missed their first 3 three-point attempts, and Brian Gregory is going to make mass substitutions at the next dead ball. Into the corner it goes. The drive to the basket, poked away by Green, but recovered. 2 on the shot clock. No problem for North Carolina A&T. Tyler May off the nice dish, and the Aggies have opened up an 8-point lead.
And I think every basket but one has been right at the bucket.
Chiwa has it knocked away. Beatty with the 3. Morris can't follow. Another offensive board, but May is no good with that. And finally, the Bulls get that ball out of there, and Brian Gregory is not going to wait for the media timeout. Bulls take a timeout. David Beatty, graduate guard.
Professional grade from GMC.
Great start for the Aggies, and Neil, some really good ball movement early.
Ball movement and also dribble penetration. You take a look at the backdoor cut there, and May able to lay it up and in. You got some veteran players, May out of Virginia Commonwealth, David Beatty out of LaSalle, and those guys have kind of led the way, and the buckets so far for A&T are easy. And I think probably on the other end, what Brian Gregory would like to see is his team tighten up the defense. I think that's always been a strong point of the USF teams under his tutelage, is that they've played really good defensively, and they've allowed the backdoors and the dribble penetration in the first 6.5 minutes.
Well, he's going to ask 5 different guys to do it because he's made a 5-for-5 substitution. Here's DJ Patrick, who led the team with 18 points last time out. Now Sorrell Smith, the St. Petersburg native. Sam Hines Jr. puts it on the floor, hits the shot, and let's see if he gets thrown for an elbow there. I think that's going to be an offensive foul for Hines on the clear out, and that is the call. So no basket, and it'll be North Carolina A&T basketball, and you can see Brian Gregory's reaction to that call.
I kind of would like to see it again. I didn't think it was enough, but maybe we'll get a look at it later.
North Carolina A&T 0-2 on the season. Quick jumper is up and no good. Horton barely drew iron, and this will be South Florida basketball. So the Bulls line up now. Smith, Patrick, and Hines, along with Trey Moss, the freshman, and Byron Matos, the big center. And Mark? Women's basketball, couple of nationally ranked teams going at it in Knoxville, and the USF women currently up a point on Tennessee. There it is, 19-18. Hines airborne for that rebound, in traffic, gets rid of it. Trey Moss. Matos fighting for the board. Out of bounds it goes, and it is going to North Carolina A&T. And that last sequence for North Carolina A&T, by the way, Marcus Watson hobbled off the court, and they have his shoe off. They're looking at him on the sideline. That would be a big loss for the Aggies if he can't continue.
Indeed, you're talking about a former top 100 recruit. We highlighted him at the Open. Was originally committed to go to Oklahoma State, and the top scorer coming into today for A&T.
8-point lead for the Aggies. Milton Matthews with the basketball, his first action of the night. Now May around the screen. The open three, no good, and Hines the rebound. Patrick, entry pass to Matos. Smith's open three, and the Bulls just can't buy one early.
And they're getting wide open looks at this point.
Kind of a similar pattern, at least early, to their game last Saturday. Another nice cut to the basket, but they can't convert. Matos the rebound. From the corner, no good for Patrick. Bulls 0 for 7 from three-point range. Double team in the corner, nicely done. Patrick gets the steal, and that's going to be a foul on Matthews. Back to the Yuengling Center, the Bulls and Aggies. for 7 behind the arc so far in this one. And Neil, it's troubling because a lot of the shots are not contested. They're pretty good looks, but the Bulls just not able to convert.
They are, but I might say, Jim, that they're kind of settling for the three-pointer the last several trips. Of their first 11 shots, and they're just 2 of 17, 6 of the first 11 were layups. The last 6 shots taken by USF have been jump shots, and 5 of those three-pointers.
Bulls are in a scoring drought of 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Same 5 on the court for USF. No starters on the floor. Trey Moss kicks it back to Smith. And Smith is blocked but fouled. That's going to be Webster Fillmore. 6'7" senior forward. And that will get the Bulls some free throws here, going to the line for the first time tonight.
Well, if you're not shooting the basketball well from the field, especially taking jump shots, the best way to get it going is to attack the basket and create some free throw chances.
It's encouraging to see that because that's something they didn't get done against Georgia Southern last time. They didn't get into the paint. They didn't draw many fouls. One more coming for Smith. And good news for North Carolina A&T is Marcus Watson is able to re-enter the game. You see him number 4 lining up next to Matos. One out of 2 for Smith. So that breaks the dry spell for the Bulls, and despite over 6 minutes of not scoring, USF still right in this game. North Carolina A&T hasn't shown a lot of offense either. They're 35% from the floor. No good with the three-point attempt, and the rebound taken by USF. Patrick. That's where he filled it repeatedly last game, but off target there. And the Aggies win the scramble for the basketball. The kick out to the corner, and the 3 is good. Jeremy Robinson averaging 3 points a game. There's his 3.
That's 5 transition points now for A&T, and that was because of that scramble. USF was a little late getting back.
Now the lead up to 10 points. Another 3 is short. And the Bulls' shooting woes continue here in the first half. There'll be another 5-for-5 substitution for the Bulls at the next dead ball. Robinson, strong move to the basket. Jeremy Robinson with a nice baseline drive.
Cutting off the dribble penetration continues to be a bit of an issue for USF against A&T.
Bulls with only 2 baskets so far. Moss with an open 3. Hines a good hustling rebound, but his follow no good.
And you can see on all these three-point attempts, it's almost like a hope. Instead of stepping into the shot confidently, there's almost a hoping it'll go in.
Outside jumper good for David Beatty. He's got 6. And the Aggies have built a 14-point first half lead. Sorrell Smith, nice job to create a little space, and there's a much-needed three-pointer for USF, their first of the night.
Well, nice job of the up fake there by Smith to create his own opportunity.
Smith now with 4 to lead the Bulls. Under 8 minutes remaining first half. Shot clock down to 5. And a late whistle. That's going to be a foul on USF. Brian Gregory unhappy with that whistle as well, but North Carolina A&T building a double-digit first half lead. Nice drive to the basket, and they're up on USF in the first half. And all North Carolina A&T so far. The Aggies shooting 43% from the floor. And they have taken advantage of a cold shooting USF team. 3 of 22 from the floor, 1 of 11 from 3. This has been a tough sequence for the Bulls.
It has. I don't know if there's anything in particular that A&T is doing defensively. They have a reputation under Will Jones for changing defenses a lot. I think USF is getting some really good open looks. They're just not knocking them down. And I think sometimes they're also pressing a little bit, which is understandable given the struggles they had their last game, scoring just 41 points.
Marcus Watson, 56% free throw shooter for Will Jones. His team picked to finish in the top 4 in their brand new conference, the Big South. And we talked a little bit about the players they have coming in as time goes on. They have a UCF transfer that will join them at midseason.
Yeah, it's Colin Smith.
A couple of other guys who they think are going to be key factors that are working through injuries but are getting closer. That foul on Jeremy Robinson, and that'll be free throws for the Bulls. It'll be Javon Green to the line. In the American Athletic Conference, Bulls kind of near the middle of the pack in the preseason poll.
They've got a lot of pieces. They're still learning how to blend together. And they've also got some pieces that aren't here yet, too. Jalen McCreer, we thought might get on the floor tonight.
There's a look at the American preseason poll. South Florida tied with Tulane in the 9th spot. McCreary is the transfer from South Carolina. He was the Bulls' leading scorer in their exhibition game a few days ago, got ill after that. They thought he might be able to come back in this game, but he's not on the court yet. He is in uniform, so we'll see if we see him tonight or not. Beatty a little out of control, and Boggs coming back the other way. Blocked by Morris. Boggs gets it back, only to be blocked again. Now Chiwa looking for a cutter. There's Murphy. Bulls showing some fight, and Russell Chiwa with the putback.
I think for USF to get back into this ball game, that's really where they need to win, is on the offensive glass, because that is clearly a weakness of A&T, out-rebounded by 11 per game the first two contests.
That's 8 offensive rebounds for the Bulls so far in this half. A long three by Watson is no good. Robinson's follow with the left hand.
I just talked about A&T's rebounding troubles, and they get an offensive rebound and a bucket.
There's Chaplin the other way, cut off on the baseline, and will go out of bounds. And back to USF. Let's see some good work on the boards here a moment ago by the Bulls. Russell Chiwa with the follow. Green's three is no good. Boggs the rebound, but a foul on USF. Might have been a push on Boggs.
It was, and that's going to be his second. And you could see A&T just collapse and let Green take that three from the wing. Until USF starts showing they can make that shot, they're just going to be giving it.
A little over 6 minutes to go. Beatty to the free throw line. Boy, they are taking some tough contested shots, but North Carolina A&T is hitting their share. Another good-looking one by Beatty.
Creating space off the dribble.
Chiwa through traffic. Murphy. Nice feed by Chiwa, and Murphy able to convert.
I think that's something I've been impressed with from Russell Chiwa his first few games this year, is he seems to do a good job of finding the open man when he's doubled.
Getting a lot more minutes this year in this new offense. Morris with a three. And the ball coming our way. Let's see who gets it back. It will go to North Carolina A&T. Here's Chiwa on the nice feed.
He was strong there with the basketball. They tried to reach down on the double team. He was able to stay strong, get it to Murphy, and a nice cut by Murphy too.
So touch last by the Aggies. It's Bulls basketball, and a chance here for USF to cut the margin.
Looks like we have our first Jalen McCreary sighting of the night.
His debut in the regular season. Here's Chaplin with a nice looking jumper, and the Bulls starting to heat up a little bit now and back to within 9.
Nice handoff with a little ball screen up high to create some space. Inside the arc is where USF needs to go right now.
Watson levels Green, and the Bulls are going to draw the offensive foul. So that'll go on Watson. Bulls basketball.
A nice job moving the feet that time by Green. The best way to get back into a game when you're struggling, you first have to do it on the defensive end, especially against an A&T team that's shooting, what, 35% and averaging only 53 points a game coming in.
Now the Bulls started off cold. They have heated up in the last couple of possessions. Murphy around the Chiwa screen. That is off the hands of Cameron Langley, and it will go back to South Florida with 11 to shoot.
Different look that time by A&T. They started trapping the basketball, forcing it out of Murphy's hands.
Bulls will send it all the way back, and they got to watch the shot clock now. Murphy lost the handle, out of bounds, and it will be a turnover for USF.
And I think Brian Gregory wanted a foul in that because I think he thought with the slight collision with Morris, there was a bit of an advantage, and Murphy was not able to maintain his ground and lost the ball.
5th Bulls turnover of the half. Robinson puts the head down and goes to the basket. Jeremy Robinson's had a big first half. That's 9 points for him, 4 out of 4 from the floor.
And from the moment he took the basketball, he knew where he was going with it too. And he's a left-hander, you got to take away the left.
Chiwa's hook is short, and Beatty the rebound. First ever meeting between these two teams. North Carolina A&T out of the MEAC for so long, and that's a funny looking play. Beatty trying to get the timeout, let that ball bounce, and Bulls almost took it away. But we've got a break. 3. Grueling non-conference schedule. This is the first of a series of really tough games, and so far so good for Jose Fernandez and the rest of the crew in Knoxville.
Indeed, a veteran group knows how to win and kind of learning about itself. In contrast, his young USF men's team having a tough time as they try and learn who they are.
Bulls down 11. Beatty's jumper just beat the shot clock. Green finds McCreary. And the first USF points for the transfer from South Carolina. 6'8" sophomore Jalen McCreary. He'll be a welcome addition after missing the first 2 games of the year due to illness.
Gives the Bulls size, and also you can see nice touch on the run and runs the floor well.
Turnover. They tried to connect to Morris and Langley. Too much on that pass. Langley, the all-time assist leader at North Carolina A&T, but he lost an opportunity for one there.
Indeed he did, and I thought the back door was open.
Well, the Bulls with a chance to make a little run here before halftime. They've got it down to 9. Chiwa needs some help. Now Green, and he's bumped by Morris. Now, Morris is a big guy, but I think Green made absolutely sure the officials saw that he got bumped on that one. First foul on Morris, 5th team foul, so it'll be an out-of-bounds play. Open look from the corner. Chaplin doesn't draw iron.
But again, if you're not making the three-point shot, probably better to work the ball inside and drive to the basket.
Bulls 1 out of 13 from 3 so far today. Another rebound for Chiwa. He's been busy. That's his 4th board of the half. Murphy picked from behind. Langley coming the other way and drops it back to Tyler May. Langley with more than 750 career assists, and if that sounds like a lot, it is. Only 52 players in the history of the NCAA Division I have hit the 750 assist mark. Langley is one of them.
And before they moved on from the MEAC conference, he had the most in the MEAC.
This one touched last by Green, and the Bulls turn it over once again. DJ Patrick will come in. We talk about the turnover in this USF roster with 10 new players. And you look at the lineup out there right now, Caleb Murphy is the only player on the floor for the Bulls right now that played here last year.
I think he's trying to figure out what his role is with his group, because it's very tough for a guy who is a sophomore to lead the way.
Langley, now Beatty. Robinson trying to get it into Morris, put it at the big guy's feet, and that's a turnover. Here's McCreary on the other end, and he gets the dunk. Jalen McCreary with the breakaway.
Nice job by Murphy to first secure the basketball, B, recognize and reward McCreary for running the floor well, and you saw his explosiveness in the open floor.
Bulls showing some signs of getting the offense going here late first half. In the final minute now. Beatty with a 3. And the Bulls will have an opportunity for the final shot of the half here. Here's Murphy and McCreary with the highlight reel.
You can see the ups, and also a good job making sure that ball is high where it can't be stripped from behind.
20 seconds left in the half. Shot clock turned off. Brian Gregory is yelling instructions as Murphy works the clock. A little bit here.
I think right now you want to start moving.
Patrick's camped out in the corner at the 3-point line. On the other side, it's McCreary, and he's blocked by Morris. And the Bulls get the ball back with 0.2 of a second to go. So this is catch and shoot, and you better do that fast.
And it was set up because I think it was kind of a tentative possession.
There's Murphy, and I don't believe he got it off in time. Shot did not fall regardless, so that's the end of the first half. The Bulls continue to struggle offensively, and the visiting Aggies of North Carolina A&T go to the locker room with a 9-point halftime lead.
Yes, sir. Let's see if these Aggies can get their first win. First win of the season. They need it. But I'll be back after this halftime. Stepping out.
heroes for the Aggies in the first half. Let's start with Jeremy Robinson, a guy who averages 3 points a game but was much better than that in the first half.
Hey, he's a left-hander. He was able to back his way into the hoop a couple of times, get out of North Carolina from school in Raleigh, able to hit the wing jumper, but he was also able to attack down low too. And I think that's really, for the most part, after those first 2 shots were made, where he was really able to do some damage during the course of the half, taking it to the bucket, drawing contact, and able to finish at the rim.
And they also had some key baskets early on from the veteran graduate student David Beatty.
You know, I think every team, when they've got a lot of transfers, are trying to figure out, okay, how do guys fit in? And Beatty immediately gave his team some confidence by being able to drive by some inexperienced defenders, taking it to the basket, showing you can finish. And really, the difference in the half was A&T finishing better at the rim than USF in this half. And it was against different defenders where Beatty did his damage.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. You'll see a lot of numbers and comparisons that aren't really remarkable until you get to the shooting, and there's a big difference.
And I think the surprise for me is the fact that A&T is a smaller team. They've had trouble on the glass, yet the points in the paint have gone to A&T's favor by 4. And I think if USF is going to come back in this game, they need to really win that battle in the paint.
North Carolina A&T looking for their first win of the year. Bulls trying to get to 2-1. We're at the half. Here's what they're looking at for this year.
Well, Campbell's the team that was a runner-up in the conference last year, and they ended up with 5 starters back and 14 players back. That's why they are expected to be near the top. And you look at A&T's schedule, really tough with a couple of road games almost buy games against Wake Forest and Stanford, really to figure out where they are. And then they'll get into the conference schedule well into December when they should be a lot healthier and figure out their group.
Halftime, getting ready for the third quarter. And there's your halftime score in Tampa. Another historic college basketball season in its early days. Historic in part because Coach K will be winding down his fabulous career in the state of North Carolina.
The great
up a little bit.
And Will Jones has got to be really pleased about where his team is, up 9 in this game. They played a pretty solid first half, shot the ball fairly well, 43% from the floor, and rebounded a little better than they normally do.
They did, and they were the aggressor. I think they kind of, from moment one, took it right to the basket. And they recognized neither of these teams are really good shooting clubs from three. They both hit 1 3 in the first half. A&T 1 of 11. USF 1 of 13, so it's really who gets into the paint, and we'll see who gets into the paint in the second half. Certainly the Aggies did in the first.
Give you an update from Knoxville, where USF's nationally ranked women's team playing the Tennessee Lady Vols. They're going to the final 10 minutes there, the fourth quarter, and USF has a 44-38 lead. So we'll keep you up to date and let you know how that one plays out as we continue along here in Tampa. Bulls will go with the same 5 that started the game. Bulls trailed most of the first half. It was double digits for a while before they were able to get it down to 9, and now it's right back up to double digits as Tyler May hits the first shot of the second half. And here's another different look defensively. Boggs to the basket, and he will draw the foul. They're going to get Morris on this one, and Boggs will get free throws.
That's the best way, really, for USF to get back into the game is go to goal. I'm kind of surprised USF on defense there started out in man-to-man, because with A&T having made just 1 3, maybe you want to try and force them to have to do it from the perimeter instead of the dribble handoffs and the look from in close.
Jake Boggs had quite the high school growth spurt. He started high school as a 5'8" point guard, and he left high school as a 6'7" center. Maybe that's where the ball skills and the shooting skills come from.
When you think you're a little guy and you were a little guy, you probably don't think you grew out of it, even though he obviously did.
Got them both, and the Bulls are back to within 9.
And staying in that man.
Nice cut inside, but May had his shot altered by Green, and Green comes up with a basketball and an offensive foul. So Green gets whistled. That will be his first.
And this is an easy call, too. Stayed with the left all the way. Nice job that time by Langley to just stay with him, stand his ground, and take the offensive foul.
North Carolina A&T coming off a loss against Jacksonville their last time out. Kick to the corner and an open 3, no good. And May is there to scoop it up.
That was 2 USF Bulls who came together on that play, and neither was able to stay strong and corral the rebound, and it led to the easy bucket in the paint.
There's Chaplin coming back the other way, leaves the layup short. It'll be a held ball on the rebound. It'll be South Florida basketball, and the arrow will go back to North Carolina A&T.
But that followed a nice jump stop by Chaplin, but he wasn't able to finish, and they've had a tough time finishing at the rim tonight with some chances.
Green open for a moment, passed up the 3, and the Bulls will get into the half-court offense. 22% from the floor so far for USF. Running out of time here. Murphy beats the clock and gets the roll.
Good movement around the basketball. Nice dive to the goal.
Beatty the other way over Green. And Chiwa able to keep that ball alive for Boggs to collect. Bulls haven't been able to get much closer than 8 or 9 points in quite a while. An opportunity here. Chiwa going to back in on Morris, and he can't finish. Morris has been a shot blocking machine. Didn't get that one. Here's Murphy with the steal, taking it back the other way, and a hard foul by Demetric Morton. Demetric Horton really laid out Caleb Murphy. Bulls bench not happy with that.
Going to look at a nice play by Murphy. Quick crossover. It is a hard foul, but he got a lot of ball too.
We'll see. I think they're going to at least take a look at the video there and see if this is a flagrant or not. Certainly a foul, but the question is, will Demetric Horton be assessed a flagrant foul here? It's a very short look. And they're going to call it a common foul, so free throws coming, but no flagrant.
I think that's a correct call. I mean, it was a hard foul for sure, but Horton was going for the basketball, at least made a play on the ball.
Murphy will go to the free throw line. Bulls haven't had a lot of opportunities from the line, but they've made the most of them. They're 5 out of 6 so far.
This is an area where Caleb struggled last year.
And you got to have free throws if you're struggling offensively. One more coming. There's the women's update. Bulls by 4 with less than 8 minutes to go in Knoxville. Here in Tampa, the men trying to come back from a 7-point deficit. Beatty into the corner with it. Tough pass again right at the feet of the big guy. That's another turnover. Here comes Murphy. Blocked. Boggs follows. He can't drop it in. And Morris the rebound and a foul on USF. More woes at the rim for the Bulls.
I mean, that's a point-blank layup. And while probably Murphy was a little bit over-aggressive going to goal, it gave Boggs a great chance to finish.
Chaplin got the foul, his first. And it'll be an out-of-bounds play. Jeremy Robinson checks in, and he'll put it in play. So the Bulls have whittled it to 7, but a great opportunity to get even closer goes by the boards in that sequence. Langley sends it to the corner. Now Robinson. The 3 is up and good by Beatty. He's got 11.
That is a huge bucket, and again, it was set up by dribble penetration. The dive to the goal, and then the kick out.
Right back up to a 10-point margin. Murphy will go to the free throw line.
I think this is, if USF is going to come back, this is where they need to do it. They've got to find a way to get stops, though, too.
Murphy to the free throw line. It's not that bad on the field goal percentage. It feels like it.
I was just going to say, it might feel that way to some.
It has been a challenging night for the Bulls, but they're coming up a little bit from where they were in the first half. And the free throws are definitely helping.
Well, this is already their 5th and 6th free throws here in the second half, and they took just 4 in the first. So certainly I'm sure Brian Gregory told his group, so look, you're not shooting the basketball well, go to goal.
Murphy with 7 points to lead the Bulls. One out of 2 this time. Bulls have a tough task coming up Friday night. The Auburn Tigers at Amalie Arena. Bulls thought they had the takeaway there, but it goes out of bounds, touch last by USF.
To this point, they've not been able to use defense to create offense very often.
Langley sends it into the backcourt and Beatty in control. Now Robinson, 9 first half points for him. Nice pass underneath, and May with a baseline jumper.
Again, an overplay, allowing one of the guards to get open on the baseline.
DJ Patrick has re-entered for the Bulls.
It's a good ball reversal.
Green with the 2. Javon Green averaging 6 per game. That's his first hoop of the night.
And the reversal by Chiwa going cross court to the baseline is what set all that up.
Langley now. Sam Hines guarding Robinson. 5 to shoot for the Aggies. And the Bulls come out of it with a basketball. There's plenty of time left, but you almost have the feeling that you did in the Bulls game against Georgia Southern, that it's hard to put points together for the Bulls, and trying to get through this deficit in the second half is a little difficult. Here's Hines with an open look. Chiwa working hard, and the Bulls come up empty again.
He's got a 4 or 5 inch height advantage in that spot with a layup, and that's again a bunny that was missed.
And a turnover the other way by North Carolina A&T. Webster Fillmore can't control that. And we go to break. Second half action at the Yuengling Center. North Carolina A&T led by 9 at the break. They lead by 9 now in the second half. With a 6-point lead on Tennessee, 4.5 minutes to go. Here's Patrick, 6 3-pointers in the last game for the Bulls, but he's been quiet tonight so far. And a whistle away from the ball that will go on the Aggies.
It was a hold by Fillmore on McCreary, who just checked back in. I thought McCreary in his first appearance for the Bulls this year gave them good energy at the end of the first half. We'll see if he can do the same here in half number 2.
Played about 5.5 minutes and scored 4 points. Out of bounds play for USF. Sorrell Smith back in the game. He's got a big first step to the hoop, gets cut off. Trying to dish it off to McCreary, and the Bulls turn it over.
Yeah, caught in the air. It's one place you don't want to be with the basketball without a clear-cut decision to make.
8th turnover for the Bulls. Open three from the corner is good. That's Marcus Watson. Only 21% from three for him, but he nails that one, and then the Bulls almost give it back again.
And it seems like every time USF gets it down to 7 or 9, they don't have an answer, either on the defensive end or on the offensive end.
That's going to be a moving screen on McCreary. It'll be North Carolina A&T basketball.
And that's the right call there. You can take a look as McCreary comes over. He's still got that little outside leg kind of pushing.
Well, this is a perilous time for South Florida now, even with 13 and a half minutes to go. Lead is expanded to 12, and points have been hard to come by for the Bulls today. There's a nice job defensively by McCreary. And he does it again, takes it away. Hines coming back down court, and he lost the handle. The Bulls turn it back over. Watson slapped out of there on a big block by the Bulls. Patrick with a three. Just not there, but it is going to go back to USF. And you're right, McCreary making some hustle plays there, helping USF keep that basketball.
He is making some good hustle plays. I think there was a play earlier, though, where he probably would have liked to release the basketball a little bit early when they had a chance for a little bit of a fast break.
Patrick breaks three, and he's unable to connect again. So Patrick, after shooting so well in the last game, is now 0 for 5 from three, and the Bulls are 1 for 16.
He was the only guy who could shoot the three-point shot over the weekend.
Came in at 42% from behind the line for the young season. Open look from the corner, it's short, and a block by McCreary on the rebound. Here's Moss all the way to the basket, the freshman Trey Moss. First points of the game for him.
One of the few chances that USF has had to get in transition today, too.
Back to 10. Now Langley. No whistle and no dunk, as Fillmore tried to bury that one, and then I'm not sure if Langley thought there was trouble with the shot clock or not, but he tosses up an air ball, and it's going to go back to USF. There's not a lot of true freshmen on this USF team. Trey Moss is the only one, but they love him in Tampa. Here's why. Bulls down 10 at the break.
Yes, sir. They need this dub, man. They need this dub tonight. Get this ball rolling.
Fun night at the Yuengling Center. USF trying to fight their way back. Down 9 at the half, and they just haven't had the offensive firepower to make a run yet here in the second half.
You look at those numbers, 31 points basically in 29 minutes, and that's after 41 points in 40 minutes over the weekend. And this is with a 30-second shot clock. They're just having a tough time connecting with one another. They're missing a couple players due to injury and trying to find their way with 10 new players on the roster. And it's been a struggle, and they're seeing a lot of new defenses now, too. Little zone by A&T.
Now Trey Moss kicks it inside. McCrary, and he draws the foul. McCrary lobbying for free throws here, but I'm not sure he's going to get them. We'll see.
No, it was called on the up fake, and I think the correct call.
Foul on Robinson, his second, so shot clock reset, and the Bulls will inbound it. McCrary, and a foul called on Tyler May. That was almost another empty trip to the rim, but the Bulls will get free throws this time, and McCrary has just been in the middle of everything since he has come in the game.
Well, you certainly see why USF is high on him and why they felt he was going to be an important piece of the puzzle, and he played very well in their exhibition before being ill the last couple games.
One more coming. Boy, they're going down to the wire in Knoxville. Tennessee has taken a 1-point lead. And as you can see, 1 minute, 33 seconds remaining.
Winning on the road is not easy, especially at that place.
1 out of 2 for McCrary.
Would be surprised to see USF go to his own at some point, just to force A&T to see a different look and also force them to work from the perimeter where they struggle.
Well, they need some more defensive stops. Still looking at a 9-point deficit. McCrary gets a hand on that, and the Bulls get the steal. Here's Smith in transition over Robinson. And McCrary fighting for the rebound, but it's Watson that comes out with it. So another opportunity for the Bulls to narrow the deficit goes by the boards. Look at Chaplin punch that ball out. Bulls picking up the defensive intensity a little bit here.
I think they recognize what's at stake at this point.
Here's Langley. Boy, that's a tough shot. Cameron Langley averages 8 points per game. That's pretty tough to defend. Chaplin, 3. There's a 3 for the Bulls. It's only their second of the night. Their first since the first half. And USF back to within 8.
Now the question is, can they get stops? I don't know how Langley made that last bucket. Wasn't even looking at the rim.
McCrary just bringing a lot of energy defensively. Watson with a 3. Marcus Watson, and it's right back to 11. Fourth 3 of the game for the Aggies. Bulls the other way, can't get the roll, but they do get the foul. And this should be Moss going to the free throw line.
We give a lot of credit to A&T for the way they've done it tonight. Every time it looks like USF is going to make a run, there's an answer on the Aggie side. And that was a huge 3 for Watson.
Moss has a couple of points on the night. Bulls now 9 of 13 from the free throw line. McCrary departs with 5 points and 1 board, also 3 blocks and 1 steal.
And he's just starting to get his legs underneath him after missing a couple of games.
Boy, if you're the Bulls with your offensive woes, you can't leave 2 points at the free throw line. 5th miss from the line tonight for USF. Watson going to work on Boggs. And double teamed, and Chaplin And Watson get tangled up. This should be a held ball, which would give it back to the Aggies. Bulls will get the arrow back.
You can see the defensive intensity has ramped up, but to have it translate into results, you got to be able to score on the other end. And just to this point, 31 minutes in, too many empty trips.
9.5 minutes to go, and that's an eternity in college basketball. But again, you look at how the Bulls have struggled to put points together, and an 11-point margin looks a little bigger than it might in other games. Watson puts it on the floor, tries to get the jam, and sends it into the Aggies bench.
The one thing that the Aggies have not done well is dunk. That's their third missed dunk of the night, I think. They've gotten looks. Watson just did not have balance as he went up.
9 minutes to go. Green through a double team. Chaplin tries the dunk and Morris denies him. No shot clock reset. Boggs out of control. Bulls turn it over.
And this group is struggling so much to shoot the basketball that I think they're all struggling to see who wants to take it in that sequence. Nobody wanted to take a three, and nobody was able to get in position to take an easier two.
Bulls at 24% from the floor in this game. 11-point lead for North Carolina A&T, new members of the Big South. How about that move? That's a hoop and a free throw for David Beatty, who did the reversal and found a little open space, drew the foul, and now it's a 13-point game. Foul on Chaplin.
With the struggles that USF has had shooting the basketball, you're now down 14 points. That's technically 5 possessions, but it's really like being down 7 possessions at this point because you're only making 2-point baskets.
Beatty completes the 3-point play. That's his 14th point of the night. And this is one of the biggest leads of the evening now for the Aggies.
Yeah, matches the largest. It was 14 at one point in the first half.
Bulls have a little over 8 minutes to go to try to pull this one out of the fire. Boggs with a nice move to the basket. Boggs now with 6.
I think you almost have to give some thought to putting some pressure on in the backcourt.
North Carolina A&T watching that clock go down. This is Kyle Duke with the basketball now. Shot clock single digits. Beatty over Chaplin. And Boggs the rebound. Bulls trying to put back-to-back hoops together. And how about that acrobatic shot off the glass by Javon Green? He'll have a chance for a 3-point play.
Haven't made the easy ones, but they just made the hardest one of the night. And then it could get this down to single digits when we come back.
It's a modest 4-0 There's our score in Tampa. In Knoxville, the USF women's team has the basketball, trailing by 3 with 9 seconds to go. Chance for a three-point play here for Javon Green. 6.7 rebounds for him. We look at Russell Chiwa, who has 7 boards also for the Bulls.
You mentioned the 7 rebounds. The problem for USF has not been at the glass. They're a +7 there. It's just been simply putting the ball in the basket. From both the free throw line and from the field.
Yeah, the Bulls now down to 9 of 15 from the line. That's their 3rd consecutive miss from there. So still a 10-point margin, and the clock's starting to factor into this thing. We'll see. I was going to say whether North Carolina A&T would slow the pace or not, but Marcus Watson wasn't interested in that, launching the long 3. Here's Patrick the other way.
Unfortunately, just can't buy it tonight.
2 out of 18 now for the Bulls.
And Patrick, who couldn't miss, has now missed all 6 of his 3-point tries tonight.
All been open looks. Can't argue with the shot selection. Here's Morris with the turnaround, and he gets the roll. Harry Morris, native of the United Kingdom, with a big hoop there to get it back up to 12.
And a wide open look, too.
Bulls have to find some shots, and they have to find them pretty quickly. Chiwa can't convert on the jump hook.
He took a little bit too long to identify that he had a guard on his back.
Well, a heartbreaker for USF women's basketball. They led most of that game, but they fall to Tennessee by 3. This is going to be an offensive foul on David Beatty, trying to protect that basketball from Green.
It's actually a pretty smart foul, because otherwise it would have been a breakaway, either dunk or layup on the other end and given some momentum. Instead, now you have to find a way in half court to get points, which has been really tough for Brian Gregory's group.
Just the first foul on Beatty. Caleb Murphy. Baseline drive, kicks it off to Boggs. Open look, and he fills it. Jake Boggs now leads the Bulls with 9 points. That's his first 3 of the game.
He had enough time to count 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000 before he put it up, too. He's going to need a couple more of those to give USF a chance.
Back to 9 with 5.5 to go. Watson on the drive. And Boggs a strong rebound. Well, this is a big possession for the Bulls here. As they try to get closer, we approach the 5-minute mark remaining. Boggs finds Chiwa, and he will get free throws.
Aggies foul number 12, Justin Watley. That's his
Justin
first,
Watley gets the foul, his first.
Russell Chiwa at the line for the Bulls.
Chiwa is 7 out of 10 on the season from the free throw line.
That was another point where I think as he continues to mature and gain opportunity, he'll learn he's got to just go strong to the basket, because he had space to operate there. It's a little indecisive.
That's his 3rd point. Chiwa with 8 rebounds.
For the Aggies, number 11, Tyler Bay checks into the game.
And if they make this free throw, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put a little even token backcourt pressure, create a different look.
They have no one in foul trouble. There's nobody in danger of getting a 4th or 5th foul. Again, only 1 out of 2. Patrick tries to keep it alive, but it goes out of bounds.
You still could press right now because it went over the end line. They're going to elect to pick up at half court.
Still an 8-point margin as we hit the 5-minute mark remaining. Bulls trying to avoid a 2-game losing streak with Auburn waiting in the wings on Friday night. Langley gets cut off, sends it outside. Beatty, and a foul on USF with 4 on the shot clock. Well, that's a great possession for North Carolina A&T. You melted about 25 seconds off the game clock, and you got the whistle on the Bulls.
And it's not a good foul for Patrick there because he's not moving his feet well enough, and he's going to come out for Chaplin, who's probably the best defender for USF.
Shot clock reset to 20. And again, North Carolina A&T is going to get to the point pretty soon where they are in no particular hurry on the offensive end. Bulls trying to chip into an 8-point deficit. And a whistle and another foul on USF, this time with 2 on the shot clock.
Murphy allowed his man to turn the corner there. Beatty was able to take advantage of it.
So North Carolina A&T has run off almost a full minute on the game clock on this possession. Now they have 20 more to shoot as they inbound it.
I assume they would have said, well, what Boggs there.
That's going to be in the cylinder. That's going to be offensive goaltending on Harry Morris.
And they got what they wanted. They got Watson, who's got a quickness advantage over Boggs.
And as the Bulls came up court, a miscommunication, and they turn it over. And it's North Carolina A&T basketball. The Bulls kind of looking at each other. I think that ball was tossed into play before a lot of the USF players knew it was a live ball, and it just rolled right to a North Carolina A&T player. Aggies with the ball when we come back.
there, he just has not quite recognized it. And I think if you make a free throw here, again, you put pressure on the other side.
That's the 4th foul on Morris. And it's a 5-point game. This is as close as the Bulls have been in a while. They trailed by 9 at the half.
Yeah, since it was 8-4.
Morris. Now Beatty.
This is the matchup they want on Boggs.
5 to shoot. Langley, oh boy, that's a killer. Cameron Langley with the 3 to get it back to 8, and on the other end, Green loses his footing and the Bulls turn it over.
You know, for the most part, that was a pretty good defensive possession, but I think if what Brian Gregory would want is you watch the rotation here. Late with the hand by Murphy there. And Langley got too good a look for that late in the shot clock. It's got to be a little more disruptive. You don't want to foul, but you still want to make sure it's not an easy look.
Into the front court, and a timeout is taken by North Carolina A&T. Getting down to it in Tampa, Bulls down 8.
Out of the Big South. Especially USF has never led this evening. They've been down most of the night, at least 3 possessions.
Got a lot of work here to do with less than 3 minutes to go, trailing by 8. Langley working on Murphy, and that will be a foul on Murphy. We'll see if they're going to give free throws or not here with 2:33 to go.
They are over the limit, so that should be a 1-and-1.
And Langley averaging 8 points per game. That's the first miss of the evening from the free throw line for the Aggies. They're 3 out of 4.
It'll match up 1-3-1 zone or 2-2-1 now.
Chaplin To the corner, Boggs, an open look, and not there. The Bulls come up empty.
You've said that a lot tonight, and that was, again, most of the threes that have been missed have been in rhythm with the opportunity to knock it down, and Boggs did it once a couple minutes ago, couldn't do it there.
3 out of 20 for the Bulls. There's a nice defensive play by Hines. Murphy able to recover, almost lost the handle again. Now Chaplin with the 3. Jameer Chaplin now in double figures with 10. That's his second 3 of the night. Down to 5 with 1:40 to go.
Now the question is, can you play the sound defense? I would imagine they're going to isolate. I thought that could have been an over and back.
Chaplin almost pried that ball away. Brian Gregory with that play right in front of him, I think, is arguing the same thing, Neil, but the timeout taken by North Carolina A&T. Let's take a look at the 3 a moment ago by the Bulls.
And this has happened a lot of that. There, Murphy almost turned it over, but that led to Chaplin being wide open on the wing and finding it in rhythm.
And again, you really can't argue in general with the shot selection by the Bulls in this game. They're not forcing a lot. They're not taking a lot of contested shots. They just are creating decent looks and not converting them.
Well, teams are going to allow them to take open threes like that until they show they can knock it down. When you're hitting, tonight, 4 of 21, even with a couple of threes late, why not allow those teams to take those threes? And I think that's A&T has said, you want to try it? Okay. And you don't need threes if you can get a stop here. You can get quick 2s and still get back.
You see the time remaining.
I would assume an isolation here for Beatty or Watson, who has the ball now.
Hines, probably one of the Bulls' better defenders. Staying with Watson. Shot clock winding down. Bulls need a defensive stop. And there's the block out of bounds, and the shot clock reads 0. That should be a shot clock violation.
I think it went off after the ball had already gone out of bounds. I think they may reset this to 1. That's what they're probably going to check. Yep, they just had 1 second on the clock.
They're going to go look at it, but they're already talking to Brian Gregory, and they do reset it to 1. So catch and shoot time for North Carolina A&T. If you're the Bulls, obviously you don't want to give up the easy hoop, but you absolutely don't want to foul here either.
And you got a rebound if there's a quick shot miss.
That's after the buzzer, I believe. Let's see if they don't call for a stoppage, so the clock is running and the Bulls have the ball.
And this is where I think Murphy needs to turn the corner and go to goal. Get the quick 2.
Going for it, and all of a sudden it is a 3-point game. Inside of 1 minute to go, Bulls trying to pull off the big comeback here.
I think at this point you lengthen the game. You press in the backcourt, you foul after that.
Beatty with the basketball. Now Langley. To the hoop. High off the glass. Morris climbing a Bull's back. Can't pull it down. And a foul is called.
That also is going to stop the clock, and it might be the 5th on Morris.
If it's on Morris, it would be his 5th. Morris will foul out. He'll leave with 2 points and 10 rebounds.
Harry Morris, that's his 5th and final foul.
Over the back, right. No question. So now the Bulls with an opportunity to put points on the board with the clock stopped here. Will Jones will have a couple of seconds to decide who he wants to bring in to replace Morris. And it looks like it's going to be Chaplin to the free throw line. Chaplin last year was under 50% from the line. This year he's 6 out of 15, 40%. Does not have an attempt tonight.
And make or miss, I think you go for quick steal and foul. You obviously need this one.
2-point game. Can USF pull this one out of the fire?
I think Brian Gregory just told his troops to foul after.
Got them both. 1-point game, and the Bulls will get a timeout. That's another advantage of hitting that second free throw. USF can invest a timeout here and set up the defense they want to.
They have trailed throughout this game. I think you probably survey who's on the floor and then determine who you want to foul at this point in time, too.
This is a 7-0 run for USF over the last minute and 13 seconds.
And a foul would be a 1-and-1 situation, too. So you pick your best options. Because we're so early in the season, I'm not quite sure who the best option would be. Langley came into today, 40% from the line? As we get a look at Caleb Murphy, who really has started to get engaged offensively. Going to goal, turning the corner, use of both the right and the left. Gotten himself involved.
12 points, 5 assists for Murphy. If you're going to foul tonight, North Carolina A&T is just 3 of 4 from the line. Of the guys on the floor, Watson's 2 for 2, Beatty 1 for 1, Langley 0 for 1.
And he missed a 1-and-1. So to me, he would be the choice, and he is inbounding.
You see the pressure. Still looking. Now Watson. Beatty, and he is fouled with 31 seconds to go.
Probably not the guy they wanted to have at the foul line, but it's still a 1-and-1 and a 1-point game.
On the season, Beatty from the free throw line is 3 for 3. Again, small sample size. The Aggies just in their third game, but even if he hits them both, the Bulls will be in a one-possession game if they can hit a three. No good. Boggs the rebound, and the Bulls with a chance to take their first lead of the night.
And I would say you don't need to run this clock all the way down. Do this within the framework of your offense. If you get an open shot and a good look, you go for it. Murphy would be the guy.
Shot clock and game clock are almost identical. Here's Murphy. Green, open look from three. It's good, and the Bulls lead for the first time tonight. 7 seconds to go. Here comes North Carolina A&T, and a timeout is called by the Aggies. 3.7 left. Javon Green with the three to give USF the lead.
That is a great job of Murphy to maintain composure because, look, dribble is stopped, identifies who's open, the kickback, and Green squared it up. Again, watch him keep the dribble alive, and then once he gave it up, found the double, saw the open man, and for once tonight, after a tough evening, Green knocks it down.
His first three of the night. The Bulls now 5 of 22 from three-point range, but they got the one that matters at least to this point. Now the officials across the way are looking at tape. We're not sure what they're looking at, but they are. They may be looking at the clock to see if they want to change this. The shot clock is turned off. The game clock, you see, reads 3.7. And I think they are going to put more time on.
Yeah, I think they said 4.5 is what they're going to adjust the clock to. And I think you would want to put a little bit of pressure in the backcourt at this point on A&T. Now, they only need a 2 to tie. But you at least want to force the ball out of the right guy's hands. And by the right guys, I would think Watson would be the guy.
Well, if you're North Carolina A&T, 2 to tie, 3 to lead. You're on the road, Big South against the American. Do you try to get the 3 and go home a winner? Do you take what's ever best available?
I think you take what's best available, and they've had such a tough time scoring, too. They've scored 3 points in the last 6 minutes. It's a 17-3 run right now that's allowed USF to go ahead.
2-point USF lead, their first of the night. Marcus Watson will put it in play right in front of us.
And you got to
Here
watch
is Langley.
Got to watch him getting a return pass.
halfway down, and it rims out, and the Bulls survive with a win. Marcus Watson from well behind the three-point line. That was in time, and had it stayed down, the Aggies would have had the win. Instead, USF survives and picks up a hard-fought victory.
It's a young team that has to feel a lot better about itself, but I think A&T got exactly what they wanted in that situation. You always have to look for the inbound man, getting the ball back. It was well designed. Watson got a clean look, and it just didn't fall.
The Bulls shoot 32% from the floor, 22% from three, but they tough it out, and they get the win under very challenging conditions, and a tip of the hat to the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, who played a really good, tough basketball.
Man. God dang Aggies. All right. We out, man. Aggies couldn't get that first dub. Much love.